said, well, we should say our prayers, we should go to the mosque and stick to our Islamic practices. And I said, this is not the remedy which is related by Muhammad in this time. There is a person to come and he will again revive the whole Islamic teachings and encourage the Muslims to practice Islamic teachings. So he said, well, what's that? I said, Imam Ali, he has to come and we have to wait. Either you have to wait and I accepted one. And everybody was looking and thinking, who is that? I said, okay, I'll tell you, but let me ask him what he says. He said, Imam Ali has not yet come, and he will come, and he started saying that there will be the job and this sort of all these signs. I said, all these have not fulfilled.
Now, instead of letting the whole thing,
it must have occupied a greater part of a few hours, I suppose. You just come to the point now.
Yes, sir. I said,
I know you must have had many things. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So, then he said, okay, I will answer your question after these students will go out. So we stood there and when the discussion was finished formal, then a few students who were interested in it, they came across and they also sat with us and we talked about it. And I related some verses from the Holy Quran about the Prophet and going to heaven of Isa al-Islam. So he said, well, Imam Ali has come for a long time. Why we don't see any sign of revival in Islam in general? And nobody is now Ahmadi at all in this, comparing the whole society. I said, well, the Holy Quran declares Nasru min Allah wa Fathun Kareem. Where is that? No Muslims in there in this society. Then the student of law, he became very interested in it because he didn't know anything about family. And I said, I related the sign of the donkey of Dajjal, and he said, oh yes, that is fulfilled. I said, what's that? He said, the traveling means of travel. I said, you are saying, but ask this Maurice, who is he was very furious on he didn't like that. And I took the addresses and he said, the Maurice said that we invite you to our mosque, come there and we will have a dinner and we'll talk and meet you after. I will be, inshallah, contacting that.
Go wearing an armor. Well, thank you very much. I am very pleased with your report and you handled the situation very admirably. With grace of Allah, you opened up so many possibilities of tabligh, preaching to many others. That is how an Ahmadi should do. Allah bless you. So, Bishiyama Sahib, you are also now attached in this department of audio-video, aren't you?
Yes, please.
Your bosses were speaking very highly of your efforts. I am very glad that you are contributing a lot. Alhamdulillah.
Thank you. So this question is from ladies. Can you please explain if the sale or distribution of religious literature is allowed in the mosque in between the two azans before the Friday sermon, or should this time be strictly spent in quiet zikr-e-ilahi?
Why to restrict the question to this limited time? Those sales should take place in any mosque be it a religious literature or non-religious literature or anything else. Mosques are not meant for these things. So if anybody is violating the sanctity of mosque, whether he is a person or it is an organization, they have no right to do that. Outside the mosque, when people begin to disperse or when they are approaching the mosque, you can do whatever you please. But mosques are not for such things, and this practice must be forsaken and on. Nobody should continue with such bad practices.
Islam. In certain part of the world, people go through suffering for extraordinarily long period of time. And is this because of some sins or related to?
Not necessarily individually, I mean. But the Holy Quran speaks of such people, in larger groups, who suffer unnecessarily from many things because of their lack of attention to God, of their lack of turning to God. And the Holy Quran tells us that if the society as such had become pious, then many calamity may not have befallen them at all. And the society as such would be much better and more prosperous. Baldatun tayyibatun warabbun ghafur. This is where this description culminates. This is how it culminates. So, largely speaking, when the whole society has become sinful, many suffering automatically crops up from that state of crime. And people begin to suffer not necessarily individually for a certain crime which they have committed, but because the whole social setup has become criminal. The whole society has become criminal. So the innocent might suffer then because it's the law of large numbers then which that operates. And in that no distinctions are made of who has committed a crime and how he should be punished. The social punishments are then common for everybody. And the Holy Quran also speaks of this. It tells us that beware of that calamity which will not discriminate between the pious and the unpious. Such calamities are these larger scale calamities which are created by human society themselves. It may mean something else as well, but this is also what it means. For instance, the suffering here in Britain and other parts of Europe and other Western societies, if you analyze them, a great majority of those sufferings are caused by human evils. Despite the fact that they are prosperous, they are well-to-do societies, they have no reason to indulge in crime. I mean, that is to say, no compulsion. Like in some poor societies, people are compelled to indulge in some crime, although still you can't justify that, but there is some reason somehow. Somebody is poor, dying of hunger, if he steals a few things, somehow it can be justified a little bit at least. But in such rich societies, prosperous societies where Allah has provided them with everything, most of the crimes committed here are unnecessary crimes. And most of the evils faced by the society of today here is because of man-made situations. And when these crimes go beyond a certain limit, then the whole society begins to suffer, and then you can't discriminate between the innocent person and the criminal person. The suffering may be shared by an innocent person, and an evil person may remain scot-free for a while, but as a whole, the whole society begins to suffer. So this is what's happening nowadays. You know, these most horrible crimes of killing of small children and